Hello Trade Pros, it's Victor from Trade Pro Academy coming at you with another video. This one's a pretty simple video and it's not gonna be that long. As you might have seen from the title, it is going to be how to start trading futures as a beginner, right? This is gonna be an encompassing guide of what I think that people should learn at the beginning based on my experience and seeing many other super successful traders that have actually taken this path. So it's going to be a very simple approach, but you're going to have to put the effort into it. Now, throughout this video, we're going to be popping up the videos that link to all the topics that we're talking about, because this would be like a massive series to start from the beginning, right? So I'm going to paste even resources of what you should learn and what you should look at as a beginning futures trader. So I've seen a lot of people come up through the last 2 years trading futures, right? Newer traders that have resurfaced again due to the mass liquidity and huge opportunity in the futures market, right? People had a lot of time on their hands, so why not look at futures? But I've also seen a lot of people lean on indicators, lean on certain things, lean on moving averages, trend lines, all this stuff that isn't necessary as a beginner trader, right? When you trade a futures market, it is a complex market. It is centralized. It is very numerical, and you can find a lot of information out there that might not be necessary as a beginner. So what I'm going to do is break down exactly what you should start with on a simple approach to starting your futures trading journey. So before we get this started, drop a comment down below. Are you an old or new trader in the futures world? Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell to notify when we drop videos like these and when we go live. Let's get ready for this intro. Again, like I've said, throughout the past 2 years, a lot of traders, especially on social media, have surfaced as futures experts and all these things. And there have been a lot that have done really well, and it shows because they preach and learn the things that I'm talking about today, right? I've gone through it all, right? I've started with market structure, I've started with different things, right? Even looked at indicators for a bit. But until I really learned the things that I'm going to talk about today, things were not looking that great in terms of profitability curves. So take a seat, take a listen, and let's see what we got. To start trading futures, realistically, the first thing that you're going to need is a solid platform, right? That's the most basic thing. A platform that I would recommend for trading futures is always going to be Sierra Charts. Sierra Charts is a little more complex and archaic, right? It looks like something from the 90s. They change it a lot. But when you learn Sierra Charts and maybe get some help with chart books, you will never go back, right? It's fairly cheap as well. Here's a video explaining the beginning process of Sierra Charts, right? And how you can start off. But if you get some help with chart books, that would be even better, right? Sierra Charts has everything you need from different charting, different instruments, volume profiles, order flow, all that stuff is encompassed within Sierra Charts. You just need a data provider. Now, a data provider is going to be through a broker, right? AMP Futures is the broker that I would recommend. The margins are really low. I've seen people trade with interactive brokers too, where the margins are like 20, 30 times that of AMP Futures. So I'll for sure take a look at that. You can also get CME data through AMP Futures. It's fairly cheap. And I've also noticed on the platform side of things, a lot of people have actually used Jigsaw as their main order flow component, right? And charting on Sierra Charts, which again, I don't use Jigsaw, but it is an amazing platform because their base is what you build in Sierra Charts from a depth of market perspective. So keep that in mind if you want both maybe, and if you want to mainly trade through Jigsaw. So the next thing that we're going to need is naturally the charting. Once we understand what charts we need, what aspects of those charts that we need, we can avoid a lot of the mistakes. Now, these aren't indicators. These aren't trend lines. These aren't market structure, price action things. These are things that actually move the futures market. Now, the futures market is sophisticated. It is a centralized exchange. There's a lot of traders within it, right? We have to understand the order flow aspect. We have to understand other aspects. So the main thing that we want to start with is what kind of charts are we using, right? There's time-based charts and there's range-based charts. A range-based chart, for example, is the main thing that we like to look at TradePro Academy, for example. A range chart is a chart that actually moves based on the tick increments of an asset. So a 10 tick, for example, every 10 ticks creates a new candle, right? So you actually see the specific movement instead of a time-based chart where you see it based on only time. So one 5-minute candle can be several different lengths. One 10 tick candle is going to be the same length each time. Now, the predominant chart that I like to use is going to be a 10 and 20 tick, but I'll also be looking at a 5-minute and a 10-minute, just get a general concept of what's going on in this market. Now, the other aspect, you might be thinking, oh, you got to learn price action, you got to use this indicator, or you got to use whatever it is, right? Trend lines. That's not the case. There's two main aspects that you need to know as a futures trader, right? I've seen this through new traders that have succeeded extremely quickly versus those who've been kind of beating their heads off the walls, right? The main two things that you need to know, number one is going to be the volume profile. Now, we've beat the volume profile to death. We use it so much. It's like a staple. I don't even know what I would do without the volume profile at this point. If you want to know the base of the volume profile, hit this video up. But the volume profile is amazing because you not only get the areas that you're supposed to be trading based on volume, you're also getting the areas where price wants to gravitate towards and the directionality of the market based on volume. Right? Volume is the magnet to price. Volume leads price. Volume suggests the moves for price, and price just reacts to that. If there's heavy volume, price wants to explore that. If there's light volume, price wants to pass through that very quickly. So volume profiles are part one of this two-part main process of futures trading. Part number two, order flow. Order flow in the futures market is a must. Now, order flow can be seen in many different ways. However, the base and the number one way to really read order flow and get a good understanding of what order flow is the depth of market, or the DOM. We have this great video on the DOM that we made right here. You guys go check it out. But the depth of market and the DOM is going to be the epitome of order flow. The depth of market tells us how many people trade at market, right? Who traded where? What size, right? Are there maybe icebergs coming in, right? Is there absorption coming in? Is there rejection? Or is price getting passed through, right? Are people trying to pass through price? Are people getting stuck long or short? All of this can be seen on the DOM. All order flow tools that are other than the DOM are byproducts of the DOM. Everything comes from the DOM. It is the first thing that futures traders started to trade with at prop desks, right? They didn't have charts and whatnot. When there was prop, when there was institutional trading, it was done based on order flow on the DOM. So you have to learn the DOM. It is a harder thing to learn at first, right? It's a different concept, but once you understand that, you can look at other products, like other order flow products, other tools, other indicators based on order flow, but everything else, right, is going to be a replica of what the DOM gives you, the actual raw information. So whether you do replays on the DOM to learn it, whatever you do, there's going to be a way to actually get really good at reading this DOM. Now, the other aspect comes after you learn these two basic tools, right? Volume profile and DOM. Throughout those, if you combine those together, you can create a killer strategy. It's literally all I use, right? You can create a killer strategy and really be very successful in the markets just reading those two things. They add precision on top of one another. After you learn that stuff, maybe you want to explore elsewhere, right? Maybe the footprint chart. A footprint is a byproduct of the DOM. It is an order flow tool. We got a video of that, of course. Check that out. And also like things like delta profile and whatnot. Those are very interesting too. Now, I don't really recommend as a new trader starting by price action or really diving into price action. It has its place, right? A lesser extent after maybe the volume profile, but like trend lines, moving averages, other indicators, that is not where you really start if you really want to learn how these futures markets work. So again, to review this, you got a platform, Sierra Charts, maybe Jigsaw, right? You need a broker, and futures is good. You need two main concepts, right? Volume profile and a DOM, and then everything else comes after. Master those things and everything else becomes a little simpler. So let me know, what do you guys think? As a beginner trader, have you learned these concepts? Are you learning these concepts? Are you a new or old trader? Drop a comment down below, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time. What else do you want to know as a new futures trader? Just let us know. We might make a video on it.